What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video today on the channel. Today we are starting up a brand new, hopefully successful video series called the Marvel Cinematic Universe Timeline, or the MCU Timeline series, which is something I have been working on for a little bit now, so it hopefully should be successful, and I'm hoping you all like it. So yeah, it's kind of just guessing at this point, so I'm hoping you all like it, so that will help me out a lot, So yeah. Now, there are already a bunch of Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline videos online. I mean, if you look it up, you'll find like a bunch of them, but a lot of those videos online do it all in one shot, so they're like over 40, 50 minutes long, maybe even 2 hours possibly, which there are. I've seen videos like that are like that long, which is crazy, but good for them for being that dedicated to that video. Good job. But for this, I'm making a series. I'm making it into several different parts so that you don't have to watch it all in one shot. You can just watch them all at different points. They'll be uploaded sporadically, if that's the correct word. I don't know, because I'm kind of, dumb. But yeah, you'll just see them all at different points in time. You don't have to watch it all in one shot. You can just watch the first part, then wait for the next part to come out, and so on and so forth. Which, hopefully that'll be successful and not boring for all of you, because I am kind of a boring person. I know. You can tell me, because I'm aware of it. But hopefully it won't be boring for all of you, because I hope you all like my content. Hopefully. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, all that being said, now before we start this Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, there are some ground rules I want to state before we start this, shall we? So, number one, all the movies will be covered in this timeline series. So all 23 current Marvel movies will be in this timeline and series. So like everything from Iron Man to Spider-Man Far From Home, including maybe in some of the ones that haven't come out yet, because depending on how long this series takes, if I'm still doing it by the time Black Widow comes out, maybe it depends on if I haven't gone to that point in the timeline yet, I can fit it into the series. So yeah, so that happens. Yeah, as well as the Marvel one-shots, which are basically like little short films that they put on the Blu-rays for the films back in the day. I will also be covering some of the comic book tie-ins to the MCU, not all of them, though, because there are certain reasons why I'm not covering every single one of them. Some of the comic books do add stuff to the overall story and universe, while others have been later retconned by some of the movies, and some, to me, don't make much sense, like the Civil War tie-in that features a giant Ultron robot attacking like 20 feet tall Ultron robot, like just kind of just showed up out of nowhere. And if I was technically there, why would Ultron not use that in Age of Ultron? It doesn't make much sense. It seems like it'd be a very helpful thing to use, but exactly my point. Not covering every single comic because of stuff like that. So, case closed. And finally, the biggie, the TV shows. I'm not covering every single TV show in this timeline. The only one I'm covering in depth in this timeline is Agent Carter, because Agent Carter is the only TV show proven to be in continuity thanks to Jarvis from the TV show showing up in Avengers Endgame. Which, yes, I know, I'm sorry, we're not covering like any of the other ones like Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Netflix shows, so yeah, all the Daredevil fans get pissed at me now. I'm not covering Daredevil and shit, or like Punisher or Luke Cage or whatnot. So, but none of those shows have really exactly been proven to be in continuity. I mean, I know Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. have people like Maria Hill and Sif and Nick Fury cameo on that show, which that one is like kind of, I guess, in continuity, but they never directly addressed Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movies. They have never addressed the other shows either. So yeah. Plus, also some of the movies have had actors from the Netflix shows appear in the movies as different characters, like Alfred Woodard from Luke Cage played 2 different characters in Luke Cage and Civil War, and of course recently Mahershala Ali is now playing Blade, even though he played Cottonmouth from Luke Cage. And I heard rumors about people like David Tennant and Ben Barnes, and who played characters in the Jessica Jones and Punisher, possibly being in, Doctor Strange, so it's not very likely. So there's no exact proof they are in continuity with the movie and stuff. But to please the TV show fans, I will be covering them kind of in this timeline. Because for Agent Carter, I am covering that one in more depth and detail, because we know that one for sure in continuity. As for the other ones like Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Daredevil or Jessica Jones or whatever, I won't cover them in detail, but I will mention where those seasons of those shows take place in the timeline. I'll just like go over the basic plot of that season overall. I won't go into any detail about like characters' histories and origins and stuff like that. So yeah, so I will mention where they take place in the timeline, the seasons, but I won't go into too much detail about it. So yeah, so TV show fans, you can rest. I will mention them, just kind of, so don't hurt me. And the last ground rule before we actually get into the MCU timeline is that the continuity of the MCU is not exactly perfect. There has been a couple of continuity errors throughout the MCU timeline as they've gone on, including stuff like people not knowing what exact year certain movies take place in, like either being 2008 or 9 or 10, which we'll get into that one when we get to the Phase 1 movies, or messing up how long it's exactly been between two certain movies, or making a continuity error in one single shot of a movie. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, in this scene from Captain America Winter Soldier, when Captain America is looking at the Bucky Barnes display at the museum, it says Bucky was born in 1917 at the top of the thing. However, at the bottom of it, it says he was born in 1916. I didn't edit that. No one else photoshopped it. That is in the movie. That is in the final cut of that movie. It literally contradicts itself in that one scene. So yeah, like I said, there's been a few continuity issues and errors throughout this timeline, but I'll explain it all for you to simplify it. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into part 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline.
In the beginning, there was nothing but darkness. And in that darkness lived the first ever living beings known as the Dark Elves, the oldest species in existence. But they weren't the only things that existed before the universe, and I'll let the Collector explain this one.
Before creation itself, there were 6 singularities. Then the universe exploded into existence, and the remnants of these systems were forged into concentrated ingots. Infinity Stones. These stones, it seems, can only be brandished by beings of extraordinary strength.
These concentrated ingots, as he put it, would later become known as the Infinity Stones. These possess cosmic power unrivaled by anything else, and when all 6 stones are brought together, untold power can be used. But very few people can wield the combined power of the stones. Each stone possesses its own specific ability, which are known as the Space Stone, the Mind Stone, the Power Stone, the Time Stone, the Soul Stone, and the Reality Stone. And throughout this timeline, you're going to see these stones move around into a lot of different places and take different forms. Some of the first beings to be born around the start of the universe were 2 brothers. One of them named Tanelair Devon, or better known as the Collector, and his brother, Jeff Goldblum, the Grandmaster, Jeff Goldblum playing the Grandmaster, which is just him playing himself. The Grandmaster. His real name's unknown. Now back to the Infinity Stones again. All but one of the stones moved around, which was the Soul Stone, which would remain on the planet Vormir for most of the timeline. Now, what I assume is that this planet is possibly the birthplace of celestial life because of this line from Nebula in Endgame.
Thanos found the Soul Stone on Vormir.
What is Vormir?
A dominion of death. At the very center of celestial existence.
She says it's the center of celestial existence, so it's hard to tell exactly, but I'm going to take it as possibly where celestials were born. So yeah, celestials. Celestials are giant humanoid beings that possess vast matter and energy manipulation abilities, and are capable of wielding Infinity Stones. One of these celestials we will get to know is Ego. Ego was not like the other celestials, as he was a large brain with cosmic power. But as time went on, he learned he could manipulate molecules and matter to build a protective core around him, and eventually build an entire planet around him. The Celestials throughout the years would do several things, including using the Power Stone to wipe out civilizations on planets, and would also one day use their powers to create a new race of beings known as the Eternals. The Eternals are a group of immortal, powerful aliens who were sent to Earth by the Celestials to protect humankind from the Deviants, who were also created by the Celestials, but they can't live forever and are deformed. So, very conflicting these Celestials are. They send beings to protect life, but they also kill life. The Eternals, led by their leader Ajak, also consist of Icarus, Kingo, Makari, Phastos, Sprite, Gilgamesh, Athena, Droog, and Cersei. Now, the exact details on when the Eternals were created and when they were sent to Earth is still unknown, but actor Kumail Nanjiani said the film takes place about thousands and thousands of years ago, so before the first Avengers. So right now it's just an assumption when this happens, so we'll have to wait for their movie coming out next year in November to fully know. Now back to Ego for a sec. When Ego was born, he believed he was alone in the universe, and wanted to know his purpose. So he created a humanoid body for himself, which is what he envisioned perfect life to look like, and was an extension of his consciousness, and he set out to find life and purpose. We'll come back to Ego every once in a while. As time had passed on, more life in the universe would be born, including the Asgardians, a race of almost godlike beings. At some point, the Dark Elves and their leader Malekith would re-emerge with plans to return the universe to its original darkest state. Malekith managed to obtain the Reality Stone and forged it into the Ether, which was a dark sludge-like weapon that could turn matter into dark matter. Malekith waited for 1,000 years for the next convergence of the 9 realms so he could plunge them all into eternal darkness. The Asgardians, of course, weren't having that, so the Asgardian army, being led by King Bor, went to war with the Dark Elves. The fight was long until the Asgardians used the Bifrost to steal the Ether from Malekith, and they were defeated. Malekith and the Dark Elves then had to retreat and went into hiding for the next 1,000,000 years. King Bor then hid the Ether deep where no one would find it. King Bor later on would have a son named Odin, and would pass the mantle of king down to Odin later on. He would later find himself a wife named Frigga, who was a witch, and the two of them had a daughter together named Hela. Odin clearly doesn't expect much from his kid if he names her Hela. Together, Odin and Hela conquer the 9 realms with war. During this time, Odin also gave Hela a special weapon for their conquest, and at this moment in time, Hela became the first person ever to wield the hammer Mjolnir. But just to let you know, she wielded the hammer before the enchantment that prevented anyone who wasn't worthy from lifting it was put on it. After a while though, Odin realized that peace was the only way to unite the 9 realms, but Hela didn't agree with this and preferred their more conquering ways. With her ambition becoming too much for him, Odin locked her up in, get ready for this, hell. You know, Odin should have just expected his kid being evil. He named her Hela. He is just as bad as Mufasa's dad naming his brother Scar. Odin and Mufasa's father are both sick people. Anyways, Hela wasn't liking being locked up in hell, which you'd think she would, so she tries breaking out. So Odin sends his most elite warriors to stop her, the Valkyries, a group of warrior women. Unfortunately though, they failed, and Hela killed all the Valkyries except for one, known as Brunhilde. But for the sake of the series, we'll keep calling her Valkyrie. Odin afterwards had to intervene and send her back to Hell. After the whole ordeal, Valkyrie wanting to have nothing to do with Odin or Asgard anymore, she exiled herself to the planet Sakaar, where she met the Grandmaster, who runs the Contest of Champions. Here on Sakaar, Valkyrie became the Grandmaster's bodyguard and Scrapper 142, but her job as a Scrapper was to collect strong warriors for the Contest of Champions. In her time as a Scrapper, she collected several strong champions over the years, including Ares, Bybeast, Darkcrawler, Man-Thing, and Bay-Ray Bill, though exactly when all these warriors were collected isn't known. Now on Earth, 2.5 million years ago, a meteor filled with vibranium, the strongest substance in the universe, crashed into a part of Africa, and it started to affect the plant life there. Once life started to be born in Africa, 5 tribes colonized the area and called it Wakanda. The 5 tribes were the Border Tribe, the River Tribe, the Mining Tribe, the Merchant Tribe, and the Jabari Tribe. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows there, as the tribes were always at war with each other. Until one day a warrior shaman named Bashenga received a vision from the panther goddess Bass. Yes, a panther goddess, but don't be surprised, Aldi, it's not the strangest thing I told you today. I told you there's a sentient plant out there right now. The panther goddess Bass led him to the heart-shaped herb that would grant him the abilities of strength, speed, and instincts, which would make him the first Black Panther, the protector of Wakanda, as well as king. All the tribes, except for the Jabari, agreed to live under his rule. The Jabari chose to live up in the mountains. This new order brought about a 6th tribe called the Golden Tribe, which included only members related and or heirs to Bashenga. As time passed, they used the vibranium to create technology more advanced than any in the world would make in the future, and would also sew it into their clothes. They would also later on in time create a cloaking field around the city to protect them from the chaos and war of the world. Back with the Asgardians, Odin and Frigga end up having another child, a boy named Thor, and we now finally have an actual date in the timeline. In 965 AD, in Tonsberg, Norway, Laufey, leader of the Frost Giants of Jotunheim, go to Earth to destroy it. Odin and the Asgardians don't want this though, so they go down there and go to battle with the Frost Giants. It's a long, tough battle which Odin loses his left eye in. In the end, the Asgardians best the Frost Giants, and Odin and Laufey make a peace treaty between their 2 realms, and the Frost Giants leave. But after they left, Odin discovers Laufey's infant child abandoned in the battlefield. Odin takes in the child as his own and names him Loki, in hopes that he could one day help unite the 2 realms, but he never told him that he was not Asgardian. The Asgardians also took the Frost Giant's powerful weapon known as the Casket of Ancient Winters and locks it in Odin's vault. As the years and centuries went on, Thor and Loki were raised and told that one day either one of them could take the mantle of king. And Thor and Loki had a loving relationship.
This one time when we were children, he transformed himself into a snake, and he knows that I love snakes. So I went to pick up the snake to admire it, and he transformed back into himself, and he was like, "Yeah, it's me!" And he stabbed me. We were 8 at the time.
I said they had a loving relationship. I never said they didn't bicker or argue. They're siblings. It's what they do. Look at Zack and Cody. But they did have a strong friendship, though. As the years went on, they made other friends as well, including the warrior Lady Sif and the Warriors 3, Volstagg, Hogun, and Fandral.
And that was part 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Timeline series. Tell me in the comment section down below what you all thought of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I'm hoping you all liked it. I put a lot of good hard work into this. I mean, even if you didn't like it, I'll probably still continue on with it. So yeah. Like, favorite, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for part 2, which will come out at some point. I don't have an exact date about when all these parts come out. So yeah. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 and more videos coming soon to the channel. And I'll catch you guys all later. Bye.